Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a huge, seismic shift happening right now in higher education. It's a transformation, and it's all being driven by artificial intelligence. It's going to redefine what it even means to teach and to learn. Okay, let's just jump right in with a number that really sets the stage for everything we're about to talk about: 86%. According to global surveys, that is the percentage of university students who are already using AI in their studies. This isn't some future trend, you know? It's happening right now. But here's where it gets really interesting. You see this huge disconnect. While a massive 86% of students, and look at this, 84% of administrators are on board with AI, faculty adoption is way, way behind at just 38%. And that gap, well, that creates a fundamental tension right in the heart of the classroom. And this isn't just some minor little problem. Experts are calling it the adoption policy gap, and they say it's a systemic risk. It's creating this volatile environment of, mistrust and uncertainty. And it's forcing universities to react, to navigate a journey that we can really see unfolding across two different horizons. So this first phase of the journey, Horizon 1, happening between now and 2030, is all about moving from that state of just reacting to one of systematic integration. But, and this is a big but, this whole process is creating a core paradox for pretty much every institution out there. So on one hand, you've got administrators who see AI as this great tool to boost efficiency, manage bigger classes, cut costs. But on the other hand, to keep up academic rigor and, let's be honest, prevent cheating, faculty are being pushed toward less efficient, more hands-on things like oral exams and big project-based work. Figuring out how to resolve this tension is the central challenge right now. And all of this pressure is forcing what is probably the most profound role shift for faculty in centuries. The whole sage on the stage idea, the professor as the main source of information, that's becoming impossible to sustain. They're evolving into more of a guide on the side, or maybe even more accurately, a learning architect who actually designs the whole educational experience. You can see the same exact transformation happening in how we assess students. In creative fields, for instance, the focus is shifting away from just looking at the final painting or essay. Now, the evaluation is all about the student's entire process of collaborating with the AI. What were their prompts? What choices did they make? How did they reflect on it? At the same time, there's this global policy race going on. You've got the European Union taking a really strict rights-based approach, even classifying educational AI as high risk. But then other parts of the world are focusing more on just fostering innovation. It's creating this really complex and kind of messy regulatory landscape that universities have to figure out how to navigate. Okay, so now let's look further out to the second horizon. Between 2030 and 2035, AI is expected to grow up. It's going to mature from being just a tool into a foundational infrastructure, and that will force a complete redefinition of what a university even is. And during this era, the whole conversation is going to shift. We'll move past today's worries about cheating and start asking much deeper, more philosophical questions. What does learning even mean when knowledge is co-created with intelligent machines? What's the point of a university in a world that is just saturated with AI? And this is where a really major risk emerges, something called cultural homogenization. As universities all start adopting the same dominant Western-centric AI systems, they risk accidentally becoming agents of this planetary-scale intellectual flattening. And that is in direct contradiction to their whole mission, which is to foster diverse ways of thinking. So here's the crucial thing to understand. This whole journey doesn't have a single predetermined destination. It's not like we're all headed to the same place. Instead, the source material lays out three really distinct potential futures that universities are, right now, actively choosing between. And what's great about this table is it makes those futures feel really concrete. Look. In the optimistic co-pilot classroom, the academic is a mentor and the student is a co-creator. Now contrast that with the pessimistic algorithmic treadmill scenario, where the academic is basically just a system operator and the student feels totally alienated and disengaged. Huge difference. This table here really puts the entire journey into perspective. Just notice the key shifts as we go from Horizon 1 to Horizon 2. The AI tech itself evolves from these integrated tools we have now to fully autonomous agents. And the primary equity concern? It blows up from a domestic AI divide to a much bigger global knowledge divide. It's just a profound transformation across the board. So, given these potential futures and just how high the stakes are, what are the key risks we really need to be watching out for? And, more importantly, how can educators actually navigate this new terrain to steer us all toward a better outcome? Well, beyond the obvious stuff, experts are pointing to several blind spots. These include things like AI's absolutely massive environmental and energy footprint, the real danger of handing over control of education to just a few big tech vendors, and that subtle erosion of intellectual diversity we just talked about. And this brings us to maybe the most important takeaway of all. Educators can actively shape this future. They're not just passengers. All of the recommendations here point toward a really strategic shift, moving away from just delivering content and toward becoming a critical facilitator, redesigning assessments, and using AI to free up time for that uniquely human mentorship. And so, this brings us to the final critical question. Is AI in education going to be a co-pilot that enhances our abilities, a crutch that actually weakens our skills, or a full-blown crisis that undermines the very purpose of what we're trying to do? The path forward isn't set in stone. The choices being made right now, today, by educators, by leaders, and by students, those are the choices that will determine which of these futures we ultimately build.